guys, welcome to the Joe Jaguar Show yet again. And today I'm gonna talk to you about what would be the better scope. What do I prefer if I had to choose it all again? Okay, what am I talking about? So I've used this guy for about 2 years or so, and this guy maybe 2.5 years. So what is my opinion if I could only have one scope, or what do I recommend for you guys? One scope, a 6-inch doublet or a 5.1-inch triplet. Okay, first let's talk about weight. So as you see right here, with diagonal, rings, bar, everything included, 22 pounds, just not without the eyepiece right now or a finder scope. This guy, same thing, no finder scope, everything as you see with diagonal, 21 pounds, only 1 pound difference. So I've used both of them for a while, several times on the channel. So let's break it down to a couple things. Okay, again, I just said 21 pounds for a triplet, 5.1 inch and 6 inch. So my thinking is, I think I will go for this one. And here's the reason why. And not because it's just a triplet, but okay. Because of a few things. If you look at the weight, it's only a 1 pound difference, right? This one's a 5.1 inch and this is a 6 inch. So, which means it's less than 1 inch diameter. Now, it is a little bit brighter on here, but it's not drastic. You know what I mean? You're only talking about less than 1 inch diameter, right? So it's not drastic, but it is a little bit brighter on here. But the tube size does make a difference because it is 6-inch f8 and this guy's 5.1 f7. And because it's a triplet, you can make it smaller. If it wasn't a triplet, it would have to be like f8 to keep the color correction somewhat down. So because it's a triplet, you can make it a little bit shorter and still be like perfect color correction. So this guy, you'll need a bigger mount. Now, right now, I got them on like a CG5 mount, LXD75, the Meade LX70 mount. You can use them on a EQ5, CG5. It's not gonna be rock solid, but take into consideration, the first generation, when those 6-inch f8 achromats first came out in about 1998, you're talking about more than 20 years ago, 22, 24 years ago. The first one was Celestron, and I was pretty sure I was one of the first in Canada that probably got a 6-inch f8 achromat, because I got the first shipment that it came in. I can't say I was the first, but I was one of the first, I think. And I paid like 2,000 Canadian back then. And it was on an EQ5, but it had the aluminum tripod, if you guys remember that. The one that comes with like the CG3. And thousands of people have bought it like that. Later on, they did upgrade it to, you know, the 2-inch. What is that? Hold on a second. Well, I had a fire at my complex, so that's what that was. Went up to, I thought maybe there's something, I was doing laundry, and I thought, did something go wrong? Maybe like the lint trap is burning. You know, I've heard of stories like that. I went to the 3rd floor, look out the hallway. Everything seemed okay. I looked at the 6th, and you definitely could smell smoke, and you could see the smoke. It's off now. However, you could definitely, it's pretty strong a little bit on the 2nd floor. So maybe it was small-ish, I don't know, small, medium-ish, and they were able to contain it. But I'm putting towels underneath the door. I don't want that smell coming in the 2nd floor. But yeah, okay. Okay, back to the video, guys. So back then when these guys came out, they came on the EQ5. Okay, now, and then they upgraded it to the with the steel legs, and that made it a whole lot better. Even Celestron now still sells the 6-inch f8 achromat, on the AVX, which is just a more beefier EQ5. So you can still do it, and it doesn't have to be rock solid. Most people, you gotta put it on an EQ8, they overmount it. Come on, it's like, I think you could do it on an EQ5. If it's the newer generation one with the steel legs, that would be okay. You wait a second and a half for it to dampen down, and there you go. Of course, I'm talking about for visual. If you get it on the HEQ5, there we go, even better. EQ6 will be rock solid. LX85, you know, anything like that, the AVX. Anyway, it can be done. This guy's the same weight, but because it's actually shorter by a bit, you could probably use it again on something as small for visual as an EQ5 newer version, AVX, HEQ5, EQ6, LX85, you know, whatever. It'll work. Don't expect it to be rock solid, but I have used it on these type of mounts and they're okay. But anyway, going back to what I think. Now, let me show you guys the difference in size though. They're only 1 pound difference. Cooling on this guy is not really that bad. Of the several times I have used it, I mean, I let it cool down, but there was one time, I think I explained to you guys in one of the videos, can't remember exactly which one, but anyway, I had some friends come over, had like a little party, and I showed them through this guy. And I only gave it like 15 minutes of cool down. I would say 20 max by the time we started observing. So by the time I took it out, 15, 20 was max. And the images were, I'm telling you, perfect that night. So it must have been great seeing. So a 5.1 inch isn't that, you know, so big that it needs an hour or two cooling down. Now, maybe it could have been from inside and outside, wasn't a drastic difference. That might have helped. But cool down time, I find in this one, or actually in both, it's not really an issue. So that part is in favor of both. Let me show you, though, the size difference. Okay, and I am lining them up, as you can see, with the focuser, and then all the way, and you can see the difference on the size. I mean, it's not I guess you might say, okay, let's actually see. Okay, to me that says 14 inches. I mean, it doesn't, you know, 14 inches is almost 1.5 feet. I mean, I think that's decent. Again, it's not the weight, weight-wise, only a pound difference. But also remember too, that was with the meade dew cap. Again, remember I'm still, both focusers look about even there. That was with the dew cap out. The one thing with the meade is now you can see the difference. So if you were going to travel, you're talking about almost like 40% less. So with the dew cap all the way retracted on the meade, it's 36 inches, although with the diagonal in place. So 36 inches. If you take away the diagonal and just cap it for if you want more portability, if you're traveling, you know, even in the car, that could save quite a bit, is 34 inches. So on this guy, with the diagonal, is 55 inches. So that's a big difference right there. And this dew cap does not shrink, so there's, you know, you can't save on space. As far as image quality, I like both. I mean, this is a triplet, so you get 0 color. It's very sharp as well. This is pretty decent. So that's why I'm saying my conclusion of these guys, I would probably pick this. Now let's talk about cost. This guy's not cheap. And again, I always talk in Canadian funds because that's where I am. I have no idea of every country out there. This guy with tax is about $3,600, and this guy is about $4,500. So about $1,100 more, roughly. Take into consideration, though, this is a triplet, right? Image quality is going to be, I think, just a tad sharper. Contrast a little bit too. And color correction is going to be a bit better on a triplet compared to a doublet. Also, the focuser in this guy is rotatable at 2.5 inch, dual speed. And this one is, most people know it's an entry level focuser. Does it do the job for visual? Yes and no. I've told you guys a few times that I've had the Skywatcher 100 ED and it broke on the first use. I never got that corrected from them, so I had to scrap it. Now this one has been okay, and I have read and heard people where some are okay, some are not. You know what I mean? So, but take into consideration, I've done a video, like I replaced on my Takahashi TSA 102, I put a Moonlight 2.5 large format on that, and that cost $713 Canadian. So if you were to upgrade that to something like that, or I'm not saying this focuser is quite as good as a Moonlight or a Feather Touch, but still, that's a lot of money. Let's say even $500 to $600 if you were to upgrade this on that. Now you're approaching, $4,000. You're probably like $500 a difference only, and you're getting a triplet instead of a doublet. You're getting something that's shorter, right? More portable. You're getting something that's really sharp. This is a very good scope. And it's only 1 inch less than an inch, 0.90 of an inch. So that's where I would say, if I had to do it again and only pick one, and if you guys were thinking, what would I recommend? I probably would recommend something like this if you could afford it. Again, remember, the cost difference is not that big of a deal. Actually, I just remembered, Skywatcher does have a second version of this with bigger rings and a better focuser. I think it's about $1,000 more. So really it's, the same thing. This one will grasp a little bit more light. I think this one would have better image and a slightly better contrast. Color correction will be better, although it's pretty decent in this guy. But as far as portability, weight is only 1 pound difference. It's just really the size type of thing. And so going from a 5.1 to 6 becomes a big difference. So anyway, guys, that's what I'm picking. You guys comment below and tell me if you agree or you don't agree. And that's it. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see you on the next episode. Joe Jaguar, out.